Welcome to the Art of Education Art Room Hacks. In today's episode, we're exploring painting and hacks to make teaching painting to your students so much easier. Hi, my name is Sahirah Dean. I'm a high school art teacher here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am going to show you a really cool technique painting with graphite. Get ready for this one. So you're looking at my desk. Excuse the shavings here. I've gone ahead and prepped a little bit of graphite ahead of time. You can use pliers to remove the wood, kind of like that. Go in and pry out the lead that's in the center and then collect it. You can use the pliers to go in and crush it up and then just allow the shavings to fall on the plate. Go in and do a little bit more crushing, and then you have a little bit of graphite. Another way is to take a sharpened pencil, use a really coarse piece of sandpaper, and you're just gonna sand and collect the shavings. They do sell these graphite pastels, but just so you know what else is out there, and you can sand this into your plate and collect the shavings as well. And it's the same thing as watercolor. The more saturated you want your gray value to be, the less water you'll use. Less saturated you want it to be, the more water you'll use. The options are kind of way open for this one. I didn't add any more water when I pulled some more of the graphite, and you can see it's getting darker. This hack allows you to not only teach value shading techniques with a pencil, but also with a paintbrush and water. And a bonus, this will also save you some money. So here's a teacher sample I did with the same technique. You can get really dark with some of your values. Another cool thing is after your paper dries, you can also work in some mark making just by using a number 2 pencil. This cool hack will allow you to introduce your students to some painting techniques using just regular oil and oil pastels. The next time you're at the store, even a dollar store, pick up a small container of oil. Cooking oil, baby oil, coconut oil, it all works. This is a great hack for transitioning students from drawing media to painting media. Through this hack, you can also expose students to color theory. Students will also learn brush maintenance because they are painting oil pastel with the oil. I'm gonna go ahead and get started by drawing out the pear. And one thing with oil pastels, you don't wanna apply too much too quickly. Then I'm gonna take my cooking oil, just a little bit in a brush, and I'm gonna start to blend it out. And this is where the fun comes in, using the oil and the painterly techniques. You can work into the oil to layer more color in. You can allow it to dry and then work more color in. Possibilities are really open with this one. To clean off your brush, you just take a little bit of the oil and a paper towel and wipe clean. I like to eliminate the black oil pastel and tell them to use a pencil. It allows you to get the dark areas dark without being way too overwhelming and intense. And this blends in really nicely with the oil pastel. Key here is to layer slowly as opposed to applying too much oil pastel at once and then blending it with your oil. If you put too much down at once, it creates a really kind of muddy color. So you want to encourage your students to apply and work up their layers very slowly. I want to show you a really cool hack that you can incorporate today for your drawing and painting students that will help keep the paintbrushes nice and soft and usable for a very long time. All you're gonna do is keep a cheap bottle of hair conditioner by your sink. I recommend one that has the pump. Then you're gonna show them that all they need is about a pea-sized amount. Take that, smooth it into the bristles. Of course, this is after they rinse it with water, and they're gonna store it just like that until the next time they paint. The next time they paint, they rinse it off and it's ready to go. If you can get your students to do this every single time they paint, your brushes will last a very long time. This hack makes total sense when you think about it. Synthetic or not, paintbrushes are basically made from hair. You definitely want to incorporate this into your students' daily cleanup routine, especially when they're painting. I wanted to show you a really cool hack using things around your kitchen that you might already have to create a watercolor pigment. Here's one that I made with turmeric powder. Here's one that I made with beetroot. You can either use the powder or you can collect the water after you boil them. You can honestly just let it sit in water. This is spirulina powder. I'm going to show you how I made these. So here I have some beetroot powder. I used about a teaspoon. I'm going to go ahead and add 4 to 5 tablespoons of water. Shake it around, and then there you have it. There's your pigment. My son plays baseball, so this is from his baseball field. If you live in Georgia, red clay makes a really great pigment. This is the same soil. I poured hot water onto this soil and let it sit overnight. You can do this for as long as you want to. So what I'm gonna do is swish it around a little bit, pour it onto a cloth, and I'm gonna strain out the liquid, squeeze out the excess water. And this is my painting stain. So just to show you the color range you can get, that's the one that we just did together. And this is the one that I did ahead of time. And again, this is very much like watercolor. You can layer these up, allow it to dry. Be patient because you can work to build a nice range of values. I recommend doing this ahead of time. I'd say at least 2 days to a week to allow the pigment to be nice and rich. The benefits of creating your own natural dyes from things around your kitchen and from the environment around your school is that it encourages exploration and also experimentation in your classroom. It also saves you a lot of money because you're using your own resources that you already have. Another cool thing is that it allows you to make your own color variations, some color variations that you won't be able to find in the store. Immerse yourself in painting tutorials, techniques, and resources with Pro Learning, the Art of Ed's on-demand professional development resources. There are packs about watercolor, tempera, acrylic, and oil paint for beginner and advanced levels. Check out the link in the description box below. I wanted to show you some really cool hacks using things from around your house or from around your classroom to add different textures into your painting activities. Another idea is to go on a scavenger hunt, have your students collect things, and then come back and have a play day. Here are some results of a play day that we had using various things they found, like a comb, like mat board scraps, straws to make these little circles, a stick they found to do the dots, more of the cardboard. So the first hack involves using regular old table salt. I'm just gonna coat my paper and then I'll take some salt, sprinkle it on the area. You can see the salt has mostly dried, and you're just gonna take your finger and wipe off that salt. It still created a really interesting texture in the paint. We're gonna work this into the paint to create relief areas. If you don't work it through the tissue paper, it will not stick. You can coat this whole thing with acrylic. You can let this dry, add another color. I'm gonna paint bubble wrap. You're gonna take it and press and lift. Less water will produce a more clean kind of circle. Lots of possibilities here. I'm using a watered down acrylic or watered down paint. I'm gonna take a straw and I'm just blowing in the direction I like the paint to go. Wet into wet will create like a bleed. See what happens. So you can get some really interesting marbling effects. Cardboard, of course, has these really cool corrugated layers. So I'm gonna take some acrylic paint and I'm gonna paint it along the sides, try to pick up that texture. So it makes a really interesting chain-like technique. So I'm gonna pull this apart and I'm gonna go ahead and apply that where I want it to go. So there's two ideas using the texture of the cardboard. Painting is one of my favorite techniques to show students. I think because students are so excited about wanting to paint, yet they're also intimidated by, seeing other people's results or thinking it has to look a certain way. I find that through a lot of trial and error in the classroom, practice, experimentation, they realize that their technique and their approach is their own. Once they have that first success, whether it's painting a sphere or an apple, they go and share that excitement with their family, with their friends, on Instagram or on social media. This excitement that they carry out into the world brings other students and people into wanting to learn how to do art. So it's definitely a win for everyone involved. Here's a hack to make tempera paint look a little bit more expensive. If you're low on money or if you inherited a lot of tempera paint like I did, you can purchase a small set of acrylic to mix into your tempera paint to make it stretch a little bit further. So I'm gonna take some of the tempera, so about 50% tempera and then about maybe 25% acrylic, depending on the finish that you want. So you can already see this one has a little bit more of a body. This one is a lot thinner. The next time you're at the store, pick up some baking soda, and you definitely want to keep this in your classroom. Then I'm going to mix it into the tempera. What this hack is, it will allow you to have a lot more body, almost more of an impasto technique. All right, so I'm going to take this and use the palette knife to create kind of a thick, interesting little texture here with the paint. Another hack is to mix in a little bit of glue with your tempera paint to give it a little bit of sheen. Allow it to stretch a little bit more so it doesn't flake so much off the canvas. So I'm gonna mix a little bit of glue here and spread it on the paper. So you can see it's about the same opacity as regular tempera, but what'll happen is it won't flake off the paper as the paint dries. So now let's have some fun and put all these techniques together for your students. Consider consider having them do an underpainting, and I am only going to use a palette knife for this project. Also, keep in mind my acrylics are up here and my tempers is down here. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial using baking soda and tempera paint to create impasto finishes. Your students will really enjoy this one. I hope you give it a try. If you saw a hack that you'd like to try from today's video, please make sure you're subscribed to The Art of Ed. In the comments down below, please let us know your best painting hack. The next episode of Art Room Hacks, you'll get our best hacks for photo. This includes darkroom and digital photography. Bye, and stay tuned for the next episode.